Hello, my friends. Welcome to, another first grade drama class. All right, so today, my friends, we are going to go ahead and we are going to review the book that we read on Tuesday, which is Have You Filled a Bucket Today? Now, we talked throughout the book about things we can do to fill someone's bucket, right? The imaginary bucket that we have in our brains to make us feel good. And then we talked about the things we can do or that we don't ever want to do that make us feel sad or mad, things that are bad, right? Because remember, if we fill someone's bucket, we make them feel good, we feel good. But if we dip into someone's bucket and make them feel bad or sad or mad, we feel bad or sad or mad, right? So what we want to do today, my friends, is we want to go ahead and talk about some things that we can do to fill someone's bucket and talk about some of the things that we never, ever, ever want to do that can very easily dip into a friend's bucket, okay? But first, my friends, let's go ahead and let's review our rules of drama class. Rule number 1. Whenever, because we're going to use our bodies today, right? We're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you guys how to act a certain way. I'm going to show you movements and faces, right, that you guys can try at home. So all these rules today apply big time for what we're going to do, okay? So, rule number 1, my friends, is to have a kind heart, right? Even though you can't see each other, it's always important to take care of the people around you, right? To make sure that we all just get along just fine and be respectful of everyone. Rule number 2, we need to have a safe body. Give yourself a hug. Take care of yourself also. It's important to remember that you matter just as much as the people that you love and care for. Rule number 3, when you guys are watching my videos, make sure eyes are glued to the screen at all times. Eyes are watching because it is very, very, very important to make sure you don't miss anything. And also, going along with that, make sure that, pull your ears out real big, you have ears listening. Because if you miss hearing something, right, too, then you miss out on something fun. All right, friends, so here is what we are going to do. I am going to write down bucket filling and bucket dipping on the board, and then we are going to talk about some things that we can do that can fill a friend's bucket and some things we don't want to do that can dip into someone's buckets, as well as our own buckets. Okay, so give me 1 second. I'll write this in black so that way it's easiest to see on my computer screen and yours. So here we go. Bucket filling and okay, right? So, bucket filling, good things. Bucket dipping, bad things. Now, before we go ahead and list some examples, let's go ahead and just review the book very quickly. There were a couple of things in this book that showed us what it's like to fill someone's bucket and to dip into someone's bucket, right? So this is the page right here where it shows people filling a bucket. You have this boy helping this girl by giving her his umbrella in the rain. And you have this girl right here giving this nice woman some flowers. And in both cases, right, both buckets are full. Excellent. And here we also have some examples of dipping, making fun of someone or bullying someone, right? Because when we do that, friends, nobody feels good. See? They feel sad, The boy who was bullied feels sad, and the boy who was bullying also feels sad. Nobody wins, right? But these two are so kind and nice to each other that both of their buckets are full. And remember, it looks like they have a little rainbow going, which is just as awesome. All right. So, we're going to go ahead and I am going to make a list of some things that would fill a bucket and a list of some things that would dip into someone's bucket. And what I am going to do is I am going to use my body and I am going to do some playing pretend and some acting, right, to show you how you would fill someone's bucket and how you would dip in someone's buckets. All right, so I have a little list here I'm going to pull up because there's lots of different things that we can do. So let's see. One of the first things that we can do, right, to fill someone's bucket is to help a teacher or help a parent put things away, right? Especially in the classroom, right? We want to help people put things away. And I know right now with, social distancing and everything, maybe we don't grab too many things at the same time, but we always try to help people out. So let me write that down. All right, putting things away. All right, so that is the first thing we can do to fill someone's bucket. All right, another thing we can do, my friends, is we can all take turns, right? We take turns doing something. And if the nicest thing we can do is we can let a friend go ahead of us if they really need to do something more than we do, right? Also, when when we're in class and we're paying attention to the teacher, we always want to raise our hands, right? Always raise your hand very respectfully. So I'm going to write that down. Number 3 is raise. Whoopsie. Sorry, guys. Number 3 is raise your hands. Okay. And then, always in the classroom and in the hallway, a big one you want to do is you want to make sure that you use walking feet. Because if we run, we can be too loud and we can also trip and we could fall, right? Now when we're out on the playground, right, or we're just playing in our backyards at home, running is just fine, right? As long as you're safe and you use those safe bodies we always talk about, right? But in the classroom and in the building, right, we want to use walking feet. That's number 4. Okay. Let me just readjust my camera, my friends, to make sure that we all can see this. Fantastic. Let's go like that. Okay, excellent. Moving right along, my friends. And let's see. Number 5. Let's see. We have a lot of things. So, let's see. We also want to listen and follow directions, right? So when the teacher is talking, our eyes listen. We talked about this. Listen and follow directions. Number 6, we want to use inside voices, right? Not only do we have walking feet, right? We walk inside, but we also want soft voices, right? Very soft. So, soft voices. Excellent. Okay, and let's see. We also have, the last 2 on the right. Let's see. Over here. Let me see if I have enough room if I go to the left. I do. Okay, friends, I'm going to put 7 and 8 over here because I didn't realize I was running out of room. But number 7 is to share, right? We share with everyone. And then number 8 is the big one. Use kind words. All right, so I'm going to move out of the way so we can see all of these, right? So number 1 is putting things away. Number 2 is taking turns. Number 3 is raising your hands. Number 4 is having walking feet. Number 5 is listening and following directions. Number 6 is soft voices. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate how I would use my body and my acting body to go ahead and demonstrate some of these bucket filling actions. All right, so here we go, friends. So number 1 is putting things away, right? So I have a couple of things on my desk here. I have this remote, I have a pen right here, I have a water bottle that probably needs to go back in the fridge. So let's say a teacher asks me to help. It says, "Excuse me, Mr. Roth, would you like to help me put some things away?" Now, a bucket filling action would be to say, "Yes, of course, I would absolutely love to help you put things away." So I'm going to. I'm going to take this remote, and we're going to set it over here. And I'm going to take this water bottle. We'll be right back, guys, and put it in the fridge. All right. This book can probably go underneath my desk, so I have it for tomorrow. And this marker goes right on top of my desk right here, so that way I have it ready for the next class. So I have put things away. I have helped someone put things away, and I have filled a bucket. Okie doke. All right, so number 2, we want to take turns, right? So a good example of this would be, I just finished this off with my K4 class. When they wash their hands, right, they always want to line up. So they'll line up properly. Everybody waits their turn. Everybody washes their hands, uses soap, real nice. Okay, the next person is standing right here, waiting patiently. Usually they have their hands at their sides, or their hands are folded like this in their lap, right? And I'll show you actually, like this, right? Fold your hands, we're waiting. And then it's their turn. They come up, wash their hands, lots of soap, and clean them off. But we're being nice and we are taking turns, right? So that is an example of taking turns. Now number 3 is raising your hands, right? So if I were in class, right, and a teacher asked me a question like, "Mr. Roth, what is your," or the teacher rather asked, what is your favorite color? So the teacher just asked me what my favorite color is. So instead of just shouting it out, right, because everybody would start shouting out, I'm going to raise my hand. Teacher calls on me. "Mr. Roth, what's your favorite color?" "Oh, thank you for calling on me. My favorite color is blue." So I have filled my teacher's bucket because I raised my hand, and my bucket is filled because she called on me because I was being polite. So everybody wins. All right, number 4, walking feet. Right? Now, I'm going to put my camera down. Hopefully you can see my feet a little bit. I'm just going to show you. So walking feet. Obviously, we all know how that goes. Walk in the hall. I want to make sure our feet just walk, right? Nice, simple walks. Follow the rules. That one's pretty easy, right? Walking feet in the hallway. Very good, my friends. Okay. All right, now let's see. Walking feet. Number 5, listening and following directions, right? Now, when we're sitting at our desks and a teacher is giving us instructions, right, we never want to be moving around or looking somewhere else or doing what we're not supposed to be doing, because then you might raise your hand and go, Mr. Roth, I don't know what we're doing. Mr. Roth, I'm not sure what's going on. But if we listen the first time, friends, and we have, like we always say, eyes watching and ears listening, then we can very easily hear instructions the very first time. So I am always, when I sit and I listen, right, I'm going to actually sit. I'm going to move my computer, show you guys this very special one. What happens when I sit and when I listen. And so I'm sitting, right? I'll move this over a little bit. My hands are like this. I'm listening to instructions. Sometimes I nod my head when I understand. Sometimes you give a thumbs up because you get it. But any of those are a good way of showing, right? Using your body, nice and simple. We have ears listening. A great way to hear instructions and follow directions the very first time. So that works, my friends. Okay, moving right along. Let's see. We also have, oh yes, soft voices. This is a big one, right? We have to be very careful, right? That when we're in class and we're talking, that we're not too loud, because our friends might get distracted, and when we're working together on something, we want to make sure that our voices are nice and soft, so that way we aren't too loud and we don't distract people who are working very hard. So this is Mr. Roth's very soft voice. There you go, friends. All right. Number 7, sharing. Very important. Let's say I'm reading a book, but I've been reading this book a lot, right? Let's say this is maybe the second day, and a friend says to me, Mr. Roth, that looks like a cool book. I've never read it before. Do you mind if I read it? And if I'm finished with it, I would say, yes, absolutely, my friend. You may read this book. If I'm not quite done, it's okay. You can say, I'm almost finished, but when I'm done, I will let you have it next. So there are so many different ways you can share with your friends, right? And it's very easy to do. You can either, wait until you're done with something and then give it to them, or if you feel like you've done something enough and want another friend to have a turn, you can share that way too. All right? And also, the most important one, number 8, my friends, is using kind words. Now, here's the big thing about kind words, right? When we think of kind words, we think of saying something nice to a friend, right? Like, hi, how are you today? Oh, I'm really glad to see you. Or, I really like that shirt you're wearing. Or, I really like, the way your hair looks. You might say something nice, kind words to make a friend feel good. But what's also important is if somebody dips into your bucket, right? The best way to deal with that, and this is very important, right, friends? If someone dips into your bucket, instead of dipping back, you have the opportunity to fill theirs and show them how great it is to feel good. So let's say somebody pushes you, or somebody's cutting in line, or somebody's walking too fast in the hallway. You could just say, excuse me, but I would like it maybe if you walked slower, or try not to push. It doesn't make me feel very good, right? There is a way to use kind words to stop someone from bucket dipping, and that's what makes it so wonderful, my friends. So the next time you feel like your bucket's being dipped into by somebody, try filling theirs in response, and you'd be surprised and how great that works. All right, friends, so that's 8 things with bucket dipping. Now, unfortunately, we do have to talk, with bucket filling. 8 things with bucket filling, excuse me. Now, unfortunately, we do have to talk about bucket dipping, because even though bucket dipping is not okay and it hurts friends, we need to go over what it's like so we make sure we never, ever do it. Okay, so one of the first one, we said use kind words. Perhaps the number one thing we can do to dip into someone's bucket is to use mean words. Using mean words does not make anyone ever feel good, right? We never want to do that. Number 2, we talked about this in the book, is hurting people, also known as bullying, right? We don't want to be bullies. Never, ever, ever. Number 3, kind of the opposite of bucket filling on here, don't put things away. Number 4 is, let me see, number 4 is not sharing. All right, we don't share, makes our friends feel sad. And number 5 is, let me see, number 5 is running inside, right? Number 6 is outside voices, loud voices inside, right? Inside, whoops, sorry. And, let's see, using mean words, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And not taking turns. So when we have 7 dippers this time. 7, not taking turns. Move that over, guys. Sorry about that. Not taking turns. Fantastic. Okay. So with all that up there, we'll go ahead now and we'll use our bodies, friends, to show how we never, ever, ever, let me move the screen so we can see it all, we never want to dip into a friend's bucket. So number 1, using mean words. So if somebody comes in and maybe their hair looks a little messy, right? Or maybe their coat is a little disheveled, you don't want to say anything mean like, hey, what happened to you? You look weird. Right? Number 2, hey, that's really gross, those colors. I don't like your shirt. What's wrong with that? Right? That is very, very, very mean and dips big time into someone's bucket. We don't ever, 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 ever want to do something like that, right? So we're not going to ever use mean words. All right, and number 2, hurting people or bullying. Now, sometimes, friends, we do disagree on things, right? We may not get along, feeling a little angry or a little upset about something. It happens to everyone. But we never want to push or shove, right? And we never want to bully because that won't make us feel good. So if I took my hands with an angry face and I pushed a friend because I wasn't feeling very good, now they're sad. And so am I, right? I am very, very, very sad. And I never, ever, ever want to feel sad. And I never, ever, ever, ever want to hurt my friends. So that's another one that's really a big dipper, right? Number 3, not putting things away. So let's say that my book is back out here, right? It's just sitting right here. This pen is sitting right over there. Let's say that, let me get the water bottle. The water bottle is here. And the remote is sitting right over there. So we're going to put things all over the table. Okay. Oh boy, Mr. Roth, would you help me put these things away? And a mean thing for me to be like, nah, you know what? I don't feel like it. Why don't you go ahead and do it yourself? All right. It's like, nah, I don't want to help. That hurts friends. That dips into buckets, right? Because it just does not even remotely make someone feel good. They're counting on you to help them, right? And the more we help our friends, the better we feel. So never ever dip into someone's bucket by saying you're not going to help them. Now, if you're too busy, right, let's say you can't help somebody because you have to be somewhere or time, there is a nice way to say, maybe next time, you could say, oh my goodness, I really wish I could help you, but I'm busy. I have to go run some errands. I have to go pick up some groceries, right? But if I do that quickly and come back, maybe I can help, right? So if you are able to help someone, just not right away, make sure you let that friend know that you do want to help them. Because instead of dipping into their bucket by saying no way, right, you will fill their bucket by saying, I can't right now, but at some point I will, right? So that makes them feel good. Okay, number 4, not sharing, right? So let's say I'm reading this book, okay? And somebody comes along and says, hey, Mr. Roth, that's a cool book. Do you mind if I look at it when you're done? And you just go, no, absolutely not. This book is mine, right? That's not very nice, okay? Because it's not a good thing to think that they want to take it from us forever, right? If a friend just wants to read it for a little bit, that's perfect. Or they just want to take a look. We can share. So don't dip into someone's bucket by not letting them share because they just want to be your friend, right? That's pretty easy. All right, number 5, running inside, right? So we talked about walking feet, right? Walking in the halls, easy enough. If we run in the halls, right? It's not very safe because if you do, then you'll trip. Whoa! Oh, you'll trip and fall. And you might hurt yourself. See, and then you have to go to the nurse, and nothing feels good. So walking inside is always the safe bet, friends, because if you hurt yourself, you skin your knee, you hurt your leg, that dips into a bucket big time. Always. Okay, and let's see what else we have. Oh, loud voices on the inside. Excuse me, I have a question. Can I answer that question, please, Mr. Roth? Oh, boy, no, see, loud voices. Loud voices inside. So loud. Nobody listens. Everybody's distracted. It hurts our ears when we're too loud, right? So always, friends, remember your soft voices when you're inside. Because loud voices, it doesn't matter who's doing them. If we're too loud inside, that definitely dips into our buckets and makes us feel kind of sad. And maybe even a little mad, depending on how loud a person's being. So always be soft. All right. And the last one for dipping is not taking turns. So just imagine, right? Instead of that orderly line of washing your hands, we have a bunch of people pushing, shoving. Hey, I'm first. What are you doing? Stop it. Mr. Roth said I could go first. Right? We have everybody upset because no one's listening, no one's taking turns, no one's being polite and letting somebody come up and go first. So no one's happy. Everyone, if we push and shove in a line, we don't take turns, everyone's buckets get dipped into, the whole class, and that's no good. All right, my friends. Well, I hope you enjoyed this today. So what we're going to do on Friday is I'm going to introduce you, my friends, to a character, our first character. And we are going to talk about how she feels when her bucket gets filled and her bucket gets dipped in. And this is a girl mouse named Chrysanthemum. So I am looking forward to reading her story to you. I know it's the end of the week, and I usually don't read stories, but we'll talk all about this again on Monday. And we will review how she feels and how it relates to how we feel. Okay, and don't forget, my friends, once again, there is that assignment on my drama page on Schoology. So if you still haven't done it, go ahead and ask either Miss Alanis or Ms. Wiedauer instructions. Go ahead on Schoology, don't forget, you're looking for Mr. Roth's drama page on Schoology. And if you go and you click on assignments, you'll see that I'm just asking you guys to tell me a little bit about yourselves, okay? So there's a couple of questions, and I'm just looking to get to know all my good friends who are still virtual a little better. Okay, guys, you have been fantastic, all right? Have a good day. I'll see you on Friday for one more lesson, and we'll finish off the week on a good note. Okay, bye, friends.